Twister Talk with Gary, Sue, and Brandon starts now.
Guys, that's it. Right there. There's a tornado. We are just north of Union City, south of El Reno, south of I-40. Cops have blocked off 81 at this point.
Gary, we're in Newcastle right now, and north of us, the thing is still on the ground. There's lots of debris in the air right now. Lots.
You need to be below ground shelter.
I hate Oklahoma.
All right, put the key in here and see what happens. Yeah, a little creaky there, so I haven't oiled those hinges in a while.
Yeah, really, we need to.
You need to do that. Go get some. Anybody wants to drop off a can of WD-40, you know where we live. So anyway, it's Twister Talk. I'm Gary.
I'm Sue.
And we have returned to the airwaves. Don't all
After hiatus.
Yeah, don't all cheer at once. Anyway. Hey,
chance of that.
You got to go with that. But anyway, we are back, and we've gotten over some. We had some fun over the winter, but we're back, and we bringeth the gift of severe weather to our listeners
weather
again.
Is here, yes.
Yes, it is, and it's cranking, and it's going to be. Looks like today and tonight could be a pretty typical severe weather day for spring. I mean, it is March, folks, and once we hit March, all bets are off. And where we're talking right now at Twister Talk headquarters, it's 76 degrees.
It's very pleasant, in fact.
Yeah, it is. Real nice breeze and not too many clouds. Kind of nice. That'll change for us tomorrow, and we'll look at the forecast for thunderstorm activity throughout the Midwest tomorrow. But, Sue, there's an ongoing area in Michigan we need to discuss really quickly, because this has been really strange, because there's only one area. If you could line in on that, let us know what's going on.
Yeah, there's one rather irritating supercell that is trundling its way across southern lower Michigan, periodically dropping tornadoes. In fact, the National Weather Service office in Grand Rapids, Michigan, just a few minutes ago, as we're taping, issued a new tornado warning for this particular storm for southeastern Calhoun County, just north of Union City, near Burlington. This is actually a weather spotter confirmed tornado. Like I said, there have been at least 3 recorded touchdowns so far. There's been some damage. Mm-hmm. It's a little unexpected.
Well, I do know that right now that warm front is in that area, the warm front between all that wonderful warm humid air and the cold front to the west. And we know that in the warm sector, sometimes supercells can develop with favorable wind shear and spin up tornadoes.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if maybe it formed along an outflow boundary or something.
Yeah, I think that's what they're talking about. It looks like it probably formed along the warm front or an outflow boundary from earlier storms, and not surprising. No watches are playing for that area right now because it's a very isolated event, but that doesn't mean that could change as we go into the evening, especially into tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a moment. But
well, yeah, especially when you consider that if this supercell hangs together, which it may, I mean, It's pretty much on track for Detroit.
Okay, so
Now, it's a long way from Detroit, but, I mean, it's tracking that way.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there are more isolated storms in those areas, so I'll have to keep an eye on it. If you live in the Michigan area and you do take a gander to the show, remember to keep your eyes to the sky, because later this evening, things will get a little more rugged in that area. We'll have to wait and see. Definitely to be on your guard tomorrow. We'll talk about that again in a moment. But right now we've got severe weather beginning to brew in the plains. Gee, is that a surprise?
That's a big shock. What's really kind of interesting about the particular weather setup going on right now is it really hasn't changed much through 3 or 4 forecasts, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's been pretty stable, quote unquote, as far as no major updates, but there are definitely concerns. And again, as we head into the afternoon, into the evening, that's always the fun part of tornado season, is when it gets dark, because you can't see them coming.
Yeah, and of course we're still in standard time, so
that's right.
Dark comes pretty early.
Yeah, so and don't forget, folks, we spring forward this weekend.
That's right.
For some of you people, it's like, oh, not again. Yeah, again. So anyway, but latest is Tornado Watch 15 has been issued from the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, and it is again covering. As soon as I get my little scroll's working again, it covers parts of central and eastern Oklahoma and North Texas, and that'll go until 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, primary threats do include a few tornadoes. A couple of intense tornadoes are possible. Scattered large hail with isolated hail events over 2.5 inches in diameter, and wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour possible. Why not? That's typical severe storm weather. You know, it's when you hear that, you know it's coming. So anyway, and this watch again goes until 10 o'clock Central Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tonight. Just a quick rundown. The watch is approximately along 80 statute miles east and west of a line from 15 miles northeast of Bartlesville, Oklahoma, to 25 miles southeast of Mineral Wells, Texas. Now, what that means is a big hunk of land out there that's got a big tornado watch. And like I said, that's going to be ongoing until 10 o'clock their time or 11 o'clock our time. Lately, just a quick look, Sue, storms again are beginning to develop in those areas and obviously going to persist for the evening. Now, the funny thing, and we'll get to this more of the details in a second, the interesting thing about this, Sue, is there was a precipitation shield over a lot of that area this morning, but that dissipated very quickly. And now the skies have become partly cloudy.
The storms are starting to pop up, and some of them are even severe thunderstorm warned at this moment.
And we sometimes forget because we had a long winter, and sometimes you get that big gap that once these storms start firing, it doesn't take long for them to reach severe levels sometimes, depending on the weather conditions. So that's this watch it's going to cover parts of obviously Oklahoma City and Ardmore, McAllister, not Tulsa yet, but Tulsa's in the watch, but storms will be firing in that area probably for a few hours later, and of course, right along the Red River boundary between good old Texas and Oklahoma. And Dallas, you are included in the southern end of that watch, but the National Weather Service office in Stephenville, which is where the big office that covers Dallas-Fort Worth, not much going on there right now, but some storms are beginning to pop a little bit to their southwest. So now, before we get any further, any other watches going on, Sue, something happened last night in Oklahoma that I think you'd like to touch on a minute.
Yeah, Oklahoma did have a couple of tornadoes last night. Unfortunately, there may have been 2 fatalities that were tornado-related. A woman and her daughter killed in a car. No more details on that, but they certainly were in the vicinity of what looked like a large and very dangerous wedge tornado. Okay. But another incident that happened, and which I find very unfortunate and kind of ridiculous, is that K4's storm chaser team was broadsided by an amateur chaser who ran a stop sign. Oh, boy. Now, luckily, thank God, Connor Toon, who is K4's storm tracker, and his chasing partner, Blaze Edwards, both were treated and released, and the guy who ran the stop sign apparently was not badly injured, but this could have ended much, much worse because I tell you, that chase mobile is trashed.
It's sad to hear that. And that, by the way, that's KFOR television in Oklahoma City that the guys they were employed by them to chase storms and everything. Yeah. And again, some yahoo wannabe just runs a stop sign, doesn't pay any attention to where he's going, and bang, right into another vehicle. Yeah. And we had that happen.
If you're out there chasing, for God's sake, be careful.
Yeah, and a few years ago that happened to a young man. He was a chaser, and another amateur guy rammed his car. I think it was during the El Reno outbreak back in 2013, and the chaser lost his life at that intersection. Yeah, very, very sad. So anyway, again, looking at Tornado Watch 15, most of good part of central and eastern Oklahoma is under that watch, and parts of Texas from Dallas all the way up to the Red River. And yes, that does include Wichita Falls, folks. I'm sure those are not the kind of memories you want brought back to at this early of season, because remember, in April of 1979, it got really bad really quickly there, and that's still a historic situation. Now, there is another tornado watch, number 16. Sue, if you have that in front, could you go ahead and update that for us?
I've got that pulled up. Tornado Watch 16 there is... This is an interesting tornado watch because it runs from just north of Dodge City, Kansas, to Fort Dodge in Iowa, which I think is kind of hilarious.
Yeah, that is interesting, yeah.
The whole thing is like the whole watch is like a echo of the Old West, and you kind of expect Butch Cassidy to walk out of it or something. But this watch currently runs roughly again from near Dodge City, Kansas, all the way up to Fort Dodge in Iowa. It runs diagonally. The cities of Lincoln, Des Moines, Omaha, Salinas are all in there, Russell as well. Mm-hmm. So far, just a few storms are starting to pop. This one is going to run until 10 p.m. Central Time. Once again, a few tornadoes and a couple of intense tornadoes are possible. scattered large hail is likely, and in fact, that is considered to be the primary threat today.
Right.
Is large hail with isolated large hail events up to 2 inches in diameter possible, scattered damaging wind gusts to 70 miles an hour possible. And of course, this is going to continue moving and evolving, and probably there will be downstream watches later, because again, this has just started to develop storms in its southern part. There's no storms right now in Omaha. This also crosses over parts of Arkansas and Nebraska. No storms there. There are some storms in Kansas.
Right, and those again, they've formed in the last few hours as the heavier rain shield. And if you look at the radar sites, it showed the rain is pushed well off to the east now. But the clouds were over there this morning, and they thought maybe they might get away with something, and there was a little bit of doubt in the forecast. But no. They're not happening, man. Not happening at all. So, again, that's what's going on tonight. It's an interesting tornado watch. Like Sue said, it's in a very narrow, it's not very wide. It's just long and narrow. It's really a strange-looking watch.
And again, there's that whole Dodge City to Fort Dodge thing.
Yeah, that's really Marshall Dillon. Where are you when we need you? So anyway. Now, tomorrow, as we look into Saturday, severe weather is going to be possible. Basically, again, east of the areas tonight and this afternoon. But Ohio, we're in the gun tomorrow. So, in fact, there is a slight risk of severe thunderstorms, and that does include Columbus and basically eastern Ohio. If you live in Dayton or toward Richmond, Indiana, you could see some thunderstorms, but they will not have as much chance to be severe as the storms that will form and move into this area tomorrow. Now, I understand, reading some of the forecasts, Sue, that actually, as strong as the storms may be, they may actually intensify as they move to the east, because weather conditions will be a little more favorable as we get toward the Ohio-Pennsylvania state line. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And most of Texas, most of central and eastern Texas is under the gun for tomorrow, as well as Arkansas and Louisiana.
Yeah, Louisiana and on up into parts of Arkansas.
So, again, it's like, it's going to be, this will be the first really blast of severe weather that we've had. Now, if you live in the Ohio area, you know the other night it was going on all night, and there was lightning popping and banging at 4 or 5 in the morning. So, and the storms were pretty strong, but they were basically heavy rainmakers more than anything else, and that was an issue. Some flooding, especially in the southern part of the state. Sue, there's an outside chances of flooding tomorrow, but these storms will be moving at a little better clip than they were before, from what they're saying at the Wilmington office. So it won't be as much of a major flooding condition. Of course, an inch or an inch and a half of rain could exacerbate what's already going down there. So I'm not ruling it out, but these storms will contain some pop. And of course, if you realize it's like, hey, it's March and it's in the 70s, that's right. And there'll be more severe weather next week. Nothing really pinned down yet, Sue, from what I'm understanding, but
Tuesday, the main threat right now appears to run from Texas on up through into Kansas. And that's Missouri. Excuse me.
Okay.
Sorry, Kansas, Missouri, and it always confuses me that Kansas City is in Missouri.
We have to talk to them about that. That's another show.
Yeah, that should have been fixed a long time ago.
That's right.
And then there's a day 6 threat that is slightly east of there, mostly into Louisiana and eastern Texas.
Right. And folks, what that does look for us, it will be sharply colder by the end of next week. So enjoy the spring blast while you can, because it will go away.
That's kind of despicable, because I was able here at Twister Talk HQ to open the windows.
I know, because it's smelling kind of funky in here. I thought, let it air out, but not to turn the heat back on middle of next week. I don't know. So anyway, tornado watches again through the central of the country, and both of them go till 11 o'clock Eastern time tonight, 10 o'clock. Storms are beginning to fire in those areas. We'll have to keep an eye on them.
Yeah, and there will probably be follow-on watches farther east and farther north later today. Right,
and we'll keep you up to date on those as conditions warrant, and also keep an eye on the sky for everybody tomorrow, too. We'll let you know what's happening on that. Again, this is our first real connection with severe weather this season, with this warmer than normal temperatures. So it may not be, quote, the big outbreak everybody's expecting, but it will definitely put a damper on a lot of people's weekend. That's going to be without saying. That's where we're on that. So, we survived, so we got through a show without blowing up. So,
wow.
I know, it's hard to believe, but anyway. Yeah. And we'll have more updates as conditions warrant, and we're glad to be back on the air. Looking forward to doing good things again with the show. And for Twister Talk, I'm Gary.
I'm Sue.
And we'll talk to you soon. Take care.